Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with more revenge stories. If you haven't already, please don't forget to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/ripeyoutube for exclusive Reddit videos. And without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is from r/pettyrevenge and is titled Steal My Amazon Package? Enjoy your complaint investigation. I work from home, receive a notification on my phone that my Amazon package has been delivered. It is a couple $100 item, so I immediately go outside, but no package anywhere. I was outside as the delivery van was driving away, so literally no way a package thief snatched it in 20 seconds. The Amazon driver is 2 houses down, so I say, "Excuse me, I received notification that my package was just delivered, but it's not there." Driver looking shocked, stammering words.
"Oh, what is the address?"
Give him address.
"Yeah, I just delivered it to you."
"No you didn't. I'm calling Amazon and you all can sort this out." Start walking away. Driver calls out.
"Oh, I found your package, but it says there's an issue and I cannot deliver it. It's likely a duplicate and another driver will be by later to deliver the correct one."
"Then why did you mark it as delivered?"
"Oh, because I did not see there was an error. The other driver will be by later."
"No, I'm calling Amazon now." Walk away, called Amazon to report the incident. They say nothing is wrong with my package and it is marked as delivered. I tell them about the interaction and they say the driver should have given me the package. Even if it is a duplicate, the driver is not supposed to withhold a package. They will investigate and get back to me in 24 hours. 2 minutes after getting off the phone with Amazon, doorbell rings. I happen to be next to the door, so I open it within 5 seconds to see the same delivery driver hauling ass down my driveway. Jumps in delivery van and speeds off through the neighborhood. Look down and my package is there. Call Amazon again to let them know that I just got the package and it was the same driver who hauled tail. They said they would be opening an investigation into the driver. I also told them about how fast he was driving through the neighborhood. I felt like a Karen calling to complain, but truly believed this driver was running a package stealing scam. Marks package as delivered, customer says they never received, driver says,
"Well, a package thief probably stole it before you looked for it."
And guys, I'm curious, did you ever have a package stolen, potentially even by the delivery man? I gotta say, it does not really happen where I live because I live in a pretty small city. However, my brother is living in a really large city and there it is much more common, especially around the Christmas time. Let us know in the comments if this is also something that is happening during the holidays in your city. And the next one is an awesome regular revenge story that was actually a pro-revenge story, however, it was removed from the pro-revenge subreddit. It is titled, Ex-roommate forgot her garbage when moving out. I decided to be a good Samaritan and return it. When I was in university, I lived with Elena for a summer. At first, Elena and I got along pretty well. But after living together for a few weeks, I discovered Elena was disgusting. She would hide and smoke in her room all day. She showered maybe every 3 days. She never cleaned up after herself. I once came home after being gone for a week and the mac and cheese she made before I left was still sitting on the stove. I cannot put into words how gross the smell was. It was a weird marriage between rot and mold. I have smelled sewage that was better than that smell. The average interaction Elena and I would have was her standing in the doorway of her room smoking and telling me how skinny she used to be during her modeling days in between bites and chews of McDonald's takeout. Besides all of this, we still got along fine, and because I knew it was only for the summer, she amazed me more than she bothered me. One day, Elena was going on about how cool it would be if we really? Got a kitten. I told her multiple times that I am allergic to cats and cannot really live with one. She said she will just keep it in her room. I said she should get one when she moves out on her own in a few months. She nodded and we moved on. 2 weeks later I come home and there was a cat. His name was notorious big and he was cute as hell. At first she kept the poor kitty trapped in her room, but he started to go stir crazy. So her solution was to lock Biggie in the bathroom with his litter box because she did not want to deal with his energy. Oh, come on man, don't do that to Biggie. My heart truly went out to him. And at this stage I had to keep my door closed at all times because Biggie would run out of whatever prison he was trapped in and sprint to my bed. This meant I would break out in hives whenever I tried to sleep and had to change my sheets at night. At one point I came home to a pile of cat crap on my bed. I showed Elena and she replied,
"Oh yeah, I saw that. That sucks."
As a side story, Elena would always try to pull some gross pranks on her friends. Once she convinced someone to take a piss into an old slushy bottle because she wanted to make a slushy out of it and convinced someone to drink it. The guy peed in the bottle, but the slushy was never made. The urine sat in the fridge, preserving for weeks. At this point my disgust was pretty obvious and we were being force friendly, but the hate was clearly there on both ends. You must be thinking, why didn't you just move or kick her out? The answer, I was on a lease that was ending in a few months and figured it was easier just to stick it out rather than go through the legal hassle of breaking a lease of trying to get rid of her. Fast forward, moving week finally arrived and we were parting ways. She was moving out a few days before me, so I decided to leave her alone while she moved out because, well, I did not want to help her. I scheduled a time to be back so she could give me the keys. I arrived at our scheduled time. Elena is gone, Biggie is gone, her stuff is gone, all of her garbage is still there in the corner of her room. Guys, remember all of that McDonald's she was eating in the doorway? She never ever threw any of the takeout bags and food containers out, all of those cigarettes she smoked, ashes and butts discarded in those same McDonald's bags, old cat litter, yep, all on the corner. There was rotting food in the fridge that she also left for me to clean out on her behalf. Oh, and remember that bottle full of piss still in the fridge? You bet. But what she did not leave was the key. She kept that and I needed it to close the lease with the landlord. I texted her asking where she was and when I can get the key. She replied,
"I noticed when I was leaving that you ate one of my pizza pockets. You can have your key back when you reimburse me $2.
Was she joking? No, she was not. This is where I snap. Can you hear it? My blood was boiling. The vengeance, an opportunity presented itself. See, Elena had a car which she let me borrow and even let me hold on to a spare key. It turns out she forgot that I had it. So I devised the most immature revenge plan I could think of. I enlisted my boyfriend at the time as the Clyde to my Bonnie, and while Clyde was driving over in his mom's minivan, I probed Elena for a little more detail. After apologizing for the pizza pocket I ate, I said that I would come to her to pay her back and pick up the key. Would not want to inconvenience her or anything. I was able to get her new address and, more importantly, where she now parked her car. Clyde and I loaded up the garbage she left into the van along with the rotting food from the fridge and, you guessed it, the pee-pee slushy. On the drive over, I cradled that bottle of urine, guarding it to make sure I don't spill a drop over any potholes. I kept it toasty warm with my fury. When we finally found her car, we were swift. I unlocked the car and we started throwing all of the garbage into the backseat and passenger seat. When we opened her trunk, we found that she had not yet unloaded it. It was filled with loose clothes and boxes. We spread out all of the food from the fridge, opening anything that we could and smearing it around. Think ground beef, loose cheese slices, rotting leftover pasta sauce and eggs. I was finally only left with two things, the car key and the urine bottle. I tossed the key on the driver's seat, poured the pee over the key and seat as a final screw you. It was fabric and soaked in nicely. I want to give her a false sense of security with this move. Because we did not throw any food or garbage on the driver's seat, it looked relatively clean, even with a wet stain. It was not the first of its kind, I assure you. In my mind, I like to think that she sat in it while it was still wet. Anyway, I locked the door from the inside and slammed it shut. We walked a block to her new apartment, smiled, said hello, got the grand tour. "I love your new place." I handed her $2, she gave me the key, and we were on our way. Apparently, it took her a few hours until she went back to her car. Remember, it was summer and there was raw food in there. She called all of her friends screaming into their ear, calling me a crazy bitch, blah blah blah. Now, I acknowledge how ridiculous and inconvenient it was for me as well as for her. I could have just taken that garbage into the garbage chute down the hall and called it a day. I could have paid the $5 to cut a new key. I could have never seen her again. But I was young, livid and vengeful. I truly felt that this revenge fit the crime perfectly. I was simply returning to her what she had left behind. That is how I saw it at the time anyway. Fast forward number 2, Elena called the cops, eventually thinking that she could get me into trouble for the garbage in her car, even though it was the garbage she trashed my place with initially. I had consulted a lawyer and the other police officers over how to proceed. The consequences were upon me, so I did my homework. They collectively told me about something called the diversion program. Because I had never committed a crime before, I go straight into the rehab phase. No lawyers, no judges, no court appearance, no record. So I went into the police station and had a chat that went something like this. Cop: so this girl is claiming that you trashed her car? Me: I simply returned her things. They just happened to be garbage. Tell me about the diversion program. Cop: well, it's a first offense. You will probably get some community service. This stays off your record. Me: deal. A few days later, I went to see a court clerk who gave me my CS placement. The community service was actually fun and rewarding. I was able to complete it at a charity and they liked me so much they hooked me up with a cool secondhand bike as a going away gift. I had that bike for 4 years. The revenge cherry: when Elena made the move to involve the police, she thought she was screwing me big time. She assumed the police would throw the book at me and collect money to send to her to pay for the garbage removal and car cleaning of her own garbage. A few months later, after I made the deal with the police, Elena tried to reach out to me via MSN. She asked me when she will be getting the money for the damage I caused to her car. She had tried to get an update from the police, but they told her as far as they were concerned, the case is closed. She was not entitled to any more detail than that. I could have ignored her, the case had been closed, my record clear, and I had moved on. Instead, I wanted her to suffer just that little bit more. I replied saying that I legally was not required to pay her any damages. I was given community service and had paid my debt to society. She screamed,
"But you haven't paid your debt to me."
I told her that's not my problem, that the police thought what happened to her warranted a few hours of charity work from me and that I got a new bike out of it. I signed off. Not surprisingly, Elena was livid. She thought she could dump all of her garbage on me. When I returned it to her, she thought she could get me in trouble legally and get me to pay to remove her own garbage from her car. Instead, she was left sitting in her car, surrounded by her own filth and with the knowledge that I came out of this scot-free and with a free bike. And Ripe Stars, I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised that this one was removed from Pro Revenge, because this is certainly one of the best revenge stories I have ever read. Of course, it does not involve killing someone or something, but it is definitely genius revenge. I hope someone would create an r/genius revenge subreddit. In addition, I'm curious, have you ever lived together with someone who was as filthy as Elena? Let us know in the comments, and I'm also curious how you dealt with that person. And the last one is a true pro-revenge story, and it is titled "Millions Lost Over a Single Flight." I was doing some HR training at work today, and the HR rep told a story which was given as an example of one of the consequences of poor customer service. When my coworker was going to be married, the wedding was out of state so as to be closer to his and the bride's families. One of his friends who was going to be in attendance had to fly coast to coast across the US in order to attend. The day of the wedding, his flight was cancelled and the airline refused to rebook him a flight in time. And on top of that, were not at all kind or hospitable. As a result, he missed his good friend's wedding and this pissed him off. What the airline did not know was that this particular person worked as a travel agent. His job was to book commercial flights for large groups. This airline was one of the bigger international airlines based in the US and someone he would normally consider when booking flights. However, after this airline refused to rebook his cancelled flight and caused him to miss his best friend's wedding, he refused to even consider them as an option for his clients. He was so pissed off by the airline's customer service that he even kept track of how many times he could have booked a flight with them, but instead chose another, perhaps even more expensive option. Over the next couple of years, he cost the airline over $2 million in lost revenue because they were rude to him and refused to rebook his flight, causing him to miss his friend's wedding. And guys, speaking of missed flights, as you might know, I am currently in Thailand and I really don't mind being here with my girlfriend. However, my flight back should have been weeks ago, and apparently the airline company is currently not able to organize flights out of Thailand. But then again, as I said, I am not really complaining, but I'm curious, have you ever missed a flight and were not reimbursed for it? Let us know in the comments. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.